Welcome or welcome back to another video. So today, yes, we have the paintbrush. Okay. I noticed that my audio has been really low, mainly when I watch it on TV. On my phone, the audio has been fine when I've watched the video back, but for whatever reason, on the TV, I cannot hear myself. So I'm pretty sure y'all cannot hear me. I apologize for that, but I'm probably better watched on a phone for audio reasons anyway. I wanted to talk today about how do we come to Yahuwah? When we come to him and we're seeking him for something and we're wanting to inquire of him, how do we come to him? How is our heart posture, right? Where is our mind at? What are we thinking? So I'm going to read chapter 20 and I'm going to read it in its entirety. It is a bit lengthy, so just bear with me, right? And it came to be in the 7th year in the 5th month, on the 10th of the new moon, that certain of the elders of Yashral came to inquire of Yahuwah and sat before me, right? And the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the elders of Yashral and say to them, Thus said Adonai Yahuwah, have you come to inquire of me? Me? After all y'all been doing, you came to inquire of me? No. And so he says, As I live, I am not being inquired of by you, declares Yahuwah. Judge them, Son of Man, judge them. Make known to them the abominations of their fathers. Let's refresh your memory in case y'all forgot. Okay? In case y'all forgot, let's refresh your memory. And you shall say to them, Thus said Adonai Yahuwah, on the day when I chose Yasharal and lifted my hand in an oath to the seed of the house of Yaakov and made myself known to them in the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, I lifted my hand in an oath to them, saying, I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. He made a promise to them. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, he made a promise to them, a covenant, an oath, right? He said, let's take it all the way back before we even got here. Let's take it back from where it started, okay? On that day, I lifted my hand in an oath to them to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim into a land that I had searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey and splendor of all lands. And I said to them, each one of you, throw away the abominations which are before his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. So he's telling them, all that y'all learned and that y'all was doing up in Egypt, don't bring that here. Not in my house. No, not in my house. He said, don't bring that here. No. But they rebelled against me and would not obey me. All of them did not throw away the abominations which were before their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Mizraim. So I resolved to pour out my wrath on them, to complete my displeasure against them in the midst of the land of Mizraim. Okay? He was like, y'all wasn't listening. Y'all brought these idols and stuff. Half of them, listen, a whole generation, couple generations, did not make it out of the wilderness. Two people made it out of the wilderness, Joshua and Caleb. That's it. Everybody else, even Moses, did not make it out of the wilderness because he was being disobedient. He got beside himself, right? All y'all would tell him to do was hit the rock. What did Moses do? Talk some stuff. Okay? He let his anger get the best of him, right? And he made it seem like he was the one who made the water come out the rock and not Yahweh. Yahweh just said, tap it. He ain't say nothing about saying no words. He ain't say nothing. But you wouldn't open. Anyway, let's continue. But I acted for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned before the eyes of the nations, among whom they were, before whose eyes I had made myself known to them to bring them out of the lands of Mizraim. So he was like, hey, y'all not finna embarrass me. I made myself known to the Egyptians. Y'all ain't finna sit here and make it look like I was just talking stuff, like I was just talking the talk and not walking the walk. I made myself known to them. And y'all are not going to sit here and disrespect me. As I've made myself known to Mitzrayim and I've shown my strength and my power, y'all are not going to sit here and have them talking about me. That's what we're not about to do. No. So I took them out of the land of Mitzrayim and brought them into the wilderness. Because he was like, if I let y'all stay there any longer, y'all are going to profane my name. Y'all are going to defile yourselves. And then you're going to have the Egyptians talking about me and profaning my name. No, We're not doing that. And I gave them my laws and showed them my right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And I also gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between them and me to know that I am Yahuwah who sets them apart. Now, this part, I have a note in here. You know how there's the mark of the beast, right? In the book of Revelation, there's also the mark of Yahuwah. So, three things: to keep his Torah, law, commandments. So, that's a distinguishing mark. People can see you doing that. The name of Yahuwah as a memorial on our mind and our memory, and Yahuwah's Shabbat, which is also a distinguishing mark that you show people that you are observing Shabbat by resting, right? Not giving in to whatever, you're resting on Shabbat. So he has distinguishing marks and then marks that are in our mind, right? So, like in the book of Revelation, the mark of the beast is going to be on your forehead or your right hand. So, the forehead, it can represent, your thoughts, your mind, the what you believe, right? And then as far as the right hand, it could represent your works, the things that you do. So there's the mark of the beast, and then there's the mark of Yahuwah. But the house of Yasharah rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my ways, and they rejected my right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And they greatly profaned my Sabbaths. Then I said I would pour out my wrath on them in the wilderness to consume them. But I acted for my name's sake, not to profane it before the nations, before whose eyes I had brought them out. And I myself also lifted my hand in an oath to them in the wilderness, not to bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands, because they rejected my right rulings and did not walk in my laws, and they profaned my Sabbaths, for their heart went after their idols. All the complaining that Yahshua did, you go back and read like the book of Exodus, all the complaining they did against Moses, which essentially is complaining against Yahweh, they were saying we should have stayed back in Mitzrayim where we had this, that, and the other. Their hearts and their minds were still set on Egypt. Even the following generations, still set on Egypt, right? And even after, when only out of that generation, Joshua and Caleb came, they still brought, not those two, but the other people, they still brought the idols and the culture and the customs from Egypt with them. And that's why even in Ezekiel, it's talking about that because they still did the things of their fathers, right? And my eyes pardoned them from destroying them. And I did not make an end of them in the wilderness because he wanted he wanted to take them all out. He wanted to take them all out. But Moses was like, well, then if you want to take them all out, then why did you bring them out of Egypt? Don't let your name be profaned. Moses really interceded for them quite a few times when they didn't deserve it. And he was sick of them. He was sick of them, but he interceded for them on their behalf so that Yahuwah would not punish all of them and wipe them out like he wanted to several times. Okay. And I said to their children in the wilderness, do not walk in the laws of your fathers, nor observe their rulings, nor defile yourselves with their idols. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Walk in my laws and guard my right rulings and do them, and set apart my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you to know that I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. So that right there, if you observe the Sabbath, that is a sign that the Most High is your Elohim or Elohim, right? He is yours. That is who you worship. So by people who don't, observe the Sabbath, I don't know who they worship. We do not worship the same Most High. We don't. So that is a sign, right? That Yahuwah is your Elohim. If you observe the Sabbath and you rest, it is clear who your Elohim is. But the children rebelled against me. They did not walk in my laws and my right rulings. They did not guard to do them, which if a man does, he shall live by them. They profaned my Sabbaths, so I resolved to pour out my wrath on them to complete my displeasure against them in the wilderness. Now, mind you, he is repeating this time and time again to let you know that they was cutting up. They was cutting up. He did everything that he could aside from wiping them out to try to get them to obey. But they refused. They didn't want to. But I held back my hand and acted for my namesake, because what would be the point in wiping them out, right? He said these are his people. If he wiped them out, what would the other nations say? Oh, I thought that was their Elohim. He wiped them out. See, our gods don't do that. Yo was like, no, we ain't doing that. Not for my name. Nope. Nope. Put some respect on my name. Okay. He was like, no. Also, I myself lifted my hand in an oath to those in the wilderness to scatter them among the nations and disperse them throughout the lands. He told them that. And what did he do? We in America. We all over. Because they had not done my right rulings, and they rejected my laws, and they profaned my Sabbaths, and their eyes were on their fathers' idols. And I also gave them up to laws that were not good, and right rulings by which they would not live. And I defiled them by their own gifts, as they passed all their firstborn through the fire, so that I might stun them, so that they know that I am Yahuwah. Therefore, Son of Man, speak to the house of Yasharal, and you shall say to them, Thus said Adonai Yahuwah, in this your fathers have further reviled me by committing trespass against me. When I brought them into the land for which I had lifted my hand in an oath to give them, and they saw all the high hills and all the thick trees, and I made a note here that said they saw all the potential to do like they did in Mizraim. They didn't see the gift that the Yahweh gave them. They saw all the abominations that they could do. And that's what they did. They slaughtered their slaughterings there and provoked me with their offerings there. And they sent up their sweet fragrance there and poured out their drink offerings there, everywhere except for where they were supposed to, right? And I said to them, What is this high place to which you go? So its name is called High Place to this day. Therefore it said, Say to the house of Yasharal, Thus said Adonai Yahuwah, Are you defiling yourselves in the way of your fathers? And do you whore after their abominations? And I wrote, Yep, they do. And when you lift up your gifts and make your sons pass through the fire, you defile yourselves with all your idols, even to this day. And I shall be inquired of by you, O house of Yasharal, as I live, declares Adonai Yahuwah, I am not being inquired of by you. He said, after all this that y'all are doing, you come and ask me questions? You coming to inquire of me? I think not. No. Uh-uh. And what comes up in your spirit shall never be. And when you say, Let us be like the nations, like the tribes in the other lands, serving wood and stone, as I live, declares Adonai, do not I, with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out, reign over you? Y'all trying to be up under these idols, trying to be up under them, if you catch my drift, all up under them, but you're under me. So how? How can you come and sit here and inquire of me when you're up under these idols? I'm the one who reigns over you, nobody else. And I shall bring you out from the peoples and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with wrath poured out, just like he took us out of Egypt. He gonna take us out of these lands. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples and shall enter into judgment with you face to face there. So this is the second Exodus, right? They already came out of Egypt. The second Exodus will be once we're gathered again. That has not happened yet. And I shall make you pass under the rod. And I shall bring you into the bond of the covenant and purge the rebels from among you and those who transgress against me. From the land where they sojourn, I bring them out. But they shall not come into the land of Yasharal, and you should know that I am Yahuwah. So this is the same thing that happened in the wilderness the first time in Egypt. He was like, hey, all y'all ain't gonna make it up out of here. No, only two people of that generation did. That was it. He waited 40 years for the rest to die off and then to bring them into the land. And so this time, there ain't gonna be no third Exodus. This is the second and final Exodus. When he brings us out into the wilderness, he will judge us face to face. Just because we die out here with everybody else who's going through the tribulation, don't mean that we ain't gonna have no tribulation in the wilderness. We are. And people will be purged. The rebels, the ones who don't want to be there. Go back and read Exodus and see what all happened. People were swallowed up in the earth. Okay? Right. Yeah. Go back and read. As for you, O house of Yasharal, thus said Adonai Yahuwah, go serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me, if you go serve, if you're not gonna listen to me, go serve your idols. Go do that. But do not profane my set apart name anymore with your gifts and your idols. Don't slaughter me nothing. Don't burn no incense for me for nothing. No, no, don't. If you're gonna serve them, leave me out of it. I have nothing to do with what you're doing. I never told you to do that. I told you not to, but now you're doing it. No, I want no parts of it. Mm-mm. For on my set apart mountain, on the mountain height of Yasharal, declares Adonai Yahuwah, there all the house of Yasharal, all of them in the land, shall serve me. There I shall accept them, and there I shall require your offerings and the first fruits of your offerings, together with all your set apart gifts. So what y'all doing right now? I don't want none of that. I don't care about none of that. When I gather you, okay, and y'all coming up to the mountain of Yasharal, then I will accept it. Until then, I I don't want it. I don't want it. No. As a sweet fragrance, I shall accept you when I bring you out from the peoples. Not before, right? We're not yet accepted. We're not. We'll be accepted after. It says after, when I bring you out from the peoples. And I shall gather you out of the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall be set apart in you before the nations. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah when I bring you into the land of Yasharal, into the land for which I lifted my hand in an oath to give to your fathers. And there you shall remember your ways and all your deeds with which you were defiled. And you shall loathe yourselves in your own sight because of all the evils that you did. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah when I have dealt with you for my name's sake, not according to your evil ways, nor according to your corrupt deeds, O house of Yasharal, declares Adonai Yahuwah. And the word of Yahuwah came to me again, saying, Son of man, set your face toward the south, and drop word against the south, and prophecy against the forest land, the south. And you shall say to the forest of the south, hear the word, the south being the southern kingdom, Jerusalem. Hear the word of Yahuwah, thus said the Master Yahuwah. See, I am kindling a fire in you, and it shall devour every green tree and every dry tree in you. The blazing flame is not quenched, and it shall burn all faces from the south to the north, and all flesh shall see that I, Yahuwah, have kindled it. It is not quenched. And I said, Adonai Yahuwah, this is Ezekiel speaking. They are saying of me, is he not speaking parables? The audacity. So Yahuwah has spoken through Ezekiel this whole time. And now these men, these elders who came and sat in front of him, they're like, is he not speaking in parables? No, he's not. This is literal. He is literally telling you what he's going to do. But because y'all's hearts are set on other things, y'all think it's a parable. No, no. Right? And so, just a little bit of verse 21. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face toward Jerusalem and drop word. So, just like he was saying to the south, Jerusalem is the southern kingdom, and Yasharal was the northern kingdom, against the set apart places, and prophecy against the land of Yasharal. And you shall say to the land of Yasharal, Thus say Yahweh, see, I am against you, and I shall draw my sword out of its sheath and cut off from you the righteous and the wrong. Everybody can get it. Nobody is exempt. Nobody will be absolved. The righteous and the wrong alike. Because were the righteous, were they trying to tell the people who were doing wrong about their sins? Were they correcting them? Were they? Probably not. Just minding their business. But you can't just mind your business. You have to tell people when they're in the wrong. Yeah. And he says, because I shall cut off from you the righteous and the wrong, therefore my sword will go out of its sheath against all flesh from the south, Jerusalem, to the north, Yasharal, or Shamaram, because they were living in Samaria. But when you come to Yahweh, think about what you've done up to that point, right? All the sins you've committed. Are you coming to him with a repenting heart? Are you coming to him to ask for forgiveness? Or are you coming to just inquire of him while you're still out here doing your thing and whoring? How are you coming to him? What is your heart like? What are you thinking? What are you focused on? And what are you coming to him for? For a house, a car, jewelry, a husband, a wife, children? What are you coming to him for? Think about that. Whenever you come to inquire of the Most High, what is in your heart? Because he can see it. I know some people think, that Yahuwah is not listening, that he's not answering their prayers. And sometimes I feel this way too. But it's just like when I come to him, where's my heart? Like honestly, like really sit there before coming to him and think like, where's my heart? What's in my heart? Right? Can I actually inquire of him when I have all these idols and worship of other things in my heart? Where my attention or my love is towards someone else? Am I cheating on Yahuwah with something else? Right? So think about that. Where's your heart? And think about everything that you have done. Just like he brought up to them, this is all that y'all did. You come to inquire of me? I think not. Nope. Not I. I am not the one, the two, or the three. Amen.